Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Guys That Magic. It's me, Steven, and we're joined by the great Hunter. Hunter, say what's up, man.
What up, what up, what up?
Today, we are going to be talking about Hunter's Painbow $300 upgrade. I am quite excited for this. I saw the $100 upgrade, and to be quite honest with you, I can only imagine what you put in to a $300 upgrade with all 5 colors.
Yeah, man. I'm very excited for this deck. As we know, our commander we're going with is Jared Carthalion. Let's do a little refresher of Jared Carthalion. He is Wooburg, that is white, blue, black, red, green, for a planeswalker with a starting loyalty of 5. Has a +1 ability that says create a 3/3 Kavu creature token with trample, that's all colors. A -3 ability that says choose up to 2 target creatures. For each of them, put a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to the number of colors it is. And a -6 that says return target multicolored card from your graveyard to your hand. If that card was all colors, draw a card and create 2 treasure tokens. So the main thing that our commander really wants to do is that middle ability, that -3. We're putting a lot of counters on things, mostly a ton of multicolored creatures, and we're swinging in for damage. So damage is the way to win here.
Aggro.
Yeah, somewhat aggro, somewhat crazy, somewhat fun.
All right, Hunter. I like what you're going to bring to the table. What are you going to add?
Yeah, so if you guys haven't already seen it, go to the description and check out the link down below to the $100 upgrade, because all these cards that you see on the screen right now are the cards that I'm keeping that I added from our $100 upgrade. They are going into this $300 upgrade. Some of them you may notice that are missing, like we're no longer doing the companion thing. We've added a lot of cool new stuff in this $300 upgrade that I felt like the companion just wasn't really needed.
Who needs companions, anyways? Am I right? We can do this on our own.
Jared, he's a big boy. He can do it.
Yeah, plus he's making you bigger boys, dude. I like this.
Oh, yeah. You'll like what we do here.
All right, Hunter. Well, let's go ahead and start getting to some additions. What are you going to do to make your commander do even more?
Yeah, so these first 2 cards, these go really well with what our commander likes to do, and that is go crazy, essentially. This first
Okay.
card is Atraxa Praetor's Voice. It's the most popular commander in the entire EDH format, so if you don't already know what it means, let me just give you a little refresher. It's a green, white, blue, black for a 4/4 legendary creature, Angel Horror. It's got flying, vigilance, death touch, lifelink. It says at the beginning of your end step, proliferate. So, this card is insane. Our commander could give it +4/+4 counters, and at the beginning of the end step, it can tick up all the additional +1/+1 counters that are maybe on all of our permanents that have counters on it, as well as tick up our commander to keep it continually good. I'm also throwing in Spark Double. Spark Double is 3 and a blue for a 0/0 creature illusion. Says you may have Spark Double enter the battlefield as a copy of a creature or planeswalker you control, except it enters with an additional +1/+1 counter on it if it's a creature, and it enters with an additional loyalty counter on it if it's a planeswalker, and it isn't legendary if that permanent is legendary. So, Spark Double comes in, copies our commander. Now we have 2 Jareds getting even more counters, even more Kavus, swinging in for even more damage. It's going to be nuts.
Yeah, not to mention that Spark Double would actually let you ult Jared immediately.
You are correct. He would enter and ult immediately. Unfortunately, he would kill himself right away, but that ult is available if you want to do that.
I'm just saying it's a pretty good ult.
It's not bad. I don't know how many times I'd do it because really want to use those counters and everything.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm saying like if anything dies in your graveyard, you really want it.
It's true.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, those are really cool. I like where this is going already, but I'm pretty sure you're gonna take me down a rainbow.
I am. I'm taking you down the Painbow Rainbow. We're adding some more multicolored creatures into the deck. Some ones that do even cooler things and really turns the deck going. First one, Chromat. Chromat is Wooburg. White, blue, black, red, green. It's a 5/5 creature. It's a legend. It's really old. I has an ability where it can pay 1 and a black to destroy a target creature blocking or blocked by Chromat. I could pay a blue and a red. Chromat gains flying to end a turn. I can pay a black and a green to regenerate Chromat. I could play a red and a white. It can get +1/+1 till end of turn. And I can also pay a green and a blue to put Chromat on top of its owner's library, which is mine. So essentially, the flexibility with Chromat is insane. That all 5 colors gives it the ability to get that maximum 5 counters from our commander. And it can give itself flying to fly over creatures to do the most damage. It protects itself. Chromat does it all.
I guess you could say that's pretty legendary.
It definitely is legendary. Speaking of legendaries, we got a couple more. This is Chulane, Teller of Tales. Chulane, Teller of Tales is 2, a green, a white, and a blue, for a 2/4 legendary creature human druid. That's Vigilance. It says whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card. Then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. You can also pay 3 to tap this and return target creature you control to its owner's hand. So Chulane is very great when it comes to casting our creature spells. We're getting that card draw, and we're just throwing out our lands onto the battlefield so we get that flexibility of making sure we hit all of our land drops and colors because we're a 5-color deck, so we definitely need all of our lands. And the ability to just bounce our thing to protect it. Chulane is fantastic.
Yeah, I do definitely enjoy the last bit of text there. Protection's so important in Commander, it's not funny.
It is. This next one, Yidris Maelstrom Wielder. Yidris Maelstrom Wielder is a blue, black, red, green, a 5/4 legendary creature ogre wizard. It's got trample. It says when it deals combat damage to a player, as you cast spells from your hand this turn, they gain Cascade. So this is a fantastic way to cheat out some of our cards.
Yeah, Cascade is such a insane mechanic in Magic: The Gathering for me. It is literally a guessing game of what you're going to get off the top of your deck, but at the same time, it is so fun.
Yeah, you're going to see a theme here. We're really trying to, because we are 5-color, we are going to try to cheat as much things onto the field as possible. So my God. The deck itself already came with a couple different ways to cascade cards. I just figured we'd add another one.
I mean, I like where you're going with it, but things might come in tapped. You got anything for that?
I do. I've got a couple of things here. Uh, First one is Amulet of Vigor. Amulet of Vigor is 1 generic mana for an artifact. It says whenever a permanent enters the battlefield tapped and under your control, untap it. This is a fantastic card because a lot of our lands in this deck, they do enter the battlefield tapped. This just immediately untaps them. And maybe we have some artifacts that come in tapped. That untaps them as well. This is a fantastic card for this deck specifically. Speaking of tapped artifacts, I'm adding Timeless Lotus, the new legendary artifact from Dominaria United set. It is 5 generic mana, comes in tapped. You can tap Timeless Lotus to add Wooburg to your mana pool. So, Amulet of Vigor comes in. This comes in eventually. This immediately gives us access to all 5 colors, so it'll mana fix us when we need it the most.
I really enjoy these two cards next to each other. I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh, it's a fantastic little combination of these two. And I'm also just throwing in one little brainstorm. I figured we just got to throw in something that can help us accelerate some card draw a little more. Brainstorm is just 1 blue mana for an instant. Draw 3 cards, then put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. Say you don't want some of the cards in your hand, you draw 3, put those cards that you didn't want back on top. Deal with them later.
All right, Hunter. I like those 3 cards you added. Were there any staples you may have seen that you wanted to bring into this deck?
100%. There's 2 staples I'm throwing into this deck that are pretty powerful cards that you see almost all the time when you're playing in a play group with anybody. This first one, Smothering Tithe. Smothering Tithe is 3 and a white for an enchantment. Whenever an opponent draws a card, that player may pay 2. If that player doesn't, you create a treasure token. I felt like this was a must include in this 5-color deck because we need something that can deal and make our commander come out as fast as possible. Smothering Tithe just continues to make those treasures because people really don't like paying the 2. So we're going to have those treasures to make any color mana.
You know what else people don't like?
What's that?
Getting asked that question
You want to pay
over
the
and
2?
over again.
You going to pay the 2?
What I will say is, I think Smothering Tithe is a really good addition into this deck, not only because it is a staple, but because I feel like in Commander, people are drawing so many cards on their turns.
Very much so. And we will make so many treasures when the people don't pay the two.
All right, what are you going to do with all those treasures?
Well, Cyclonic Rift is the other card I'm adding to this deck. It's 1 and a blue. Instant. Return target non-land permanent you don't control to its owner's hand. It's got an overload cost of 6 and a blue. Meaning if I do pay that 7 mana, I do it for everything, not just one card. So I will pop back all non-land permanents that I don't control back to their owner's hands. A very, very disruptive spell, and will get us in for that damage very easily.
Fantastic 2 cards. Probably 2 of my favorites in this color format. All right, well, what kind of utility stuff are you putting into this deck?
Yeah, so I'm going to add 2 more final artifacts into this deck. The Ozolith is a must include in any deck that uses counters, I feel like at this point. It is 1 generic mana for a legendary artifact. It says whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters on it, put those counters on the Ozolith. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, if the Ozolith has counters on it, you may move all counters from the Ozolith onto target creature. So let's say our commander goes ahead and puts up to 5 counters on a 5-color creature, 4 counters on a 4-color creature. There's a board wipe that happens. All 9 of those counters are going onto the Ozolith. If we put down another creature, those 9 counters will then go onto the new creature. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I hate this card.
It's a great card, man.
It's hurt me so many times.
You have to deal with the Ozolith.
You have to deal with the Ozolith.
And at 1 mana, this comes down very quickly. The other card I'm throwing in here, I told you guys before, we're trying to cheat stuff in. We're going to add Dragon Arch. Dragon Arch is 5 generic mana for an artifact. I may pay 2 and tap it. You may put a multicolored creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. So straight up, pay the 2, put down one of our giant 5-color creatures, one of our giant 4-color creatures, etc., etc. Put it down on the field for 2. Easy mode.
You're mean.
Hey man, we're just trying to get stuff easy. If we
You're
don't
a
have the exact colors we need, we're going to have to do it differently.
you're a bully.
I know. It's great.
All right, Hunter. Well, let's say that everything's going not according to plan. You got anything for backup?
Yeah, so if we're not winning by damage, I did throw in this alternate win con. This is Simic Ascendancy. Simic Ascendancy is just a green and a blue for an enchantment. I could pay 1, a green, a blue to put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. And whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on a creature you control, put that many growth counters on Simic Ascendancy. And also, at the beginning of your upkeep, if Simic Ascendancy has 20 or more growth counters on it, you win the game. So, if this is on the battlefield, and our commander's out, and we have 2 5-color Kavu, all colors, by the way, and our commander just we're putting 10 growth counters on Simic Ascendancy. We're halfway to winning immediately. Pretty good.
I'd say that's pretty great.
Yep. And especially if we have Atraxa, we can proliferate those growth counters up as well. And the Ozolith, say we have 9 of those counters that I gave in the example. Those go onto it. That goes 9 growth counters immediately. It's fantastic. Really big win con here.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like you just said that we had to deal with the Ozolith as soon as possible, but at this point, I'm pretty sure we have to deal with everything in this deck as soon as possible.
We really do, man. We really do.
All right, but no deck is complete without lands.
So, yeah, the lands, I really didn't want to cheat and just say my $300 upgrade is the mana base because that's the easy way out. So I'm just going to add 2 more triomes. It's going to be the Indatha triome and Sparrow's headquarters. Indatha can tap for a white, black, or green, and the Sparrow's headquarters can tap for a green, white, or blue. Also, Sparrow's headquarters and Indatha triome also come with cycling 3, which means if for whatever reason I'm drawing this in the very, very late game, I could just pay 3, discard this, and draw a new one.
Well done, sir. I love the additions.
Thank you so much.
But sadly, with additions comes removals.
Yep, and once again, throwing up on the screen, all of these have been removed from the original $100 list. If you want to know why I removed these, deep analysis, go back, check the description, click on that $100 video, and go listen to why I did it. But this is where we're making room for the 300s. First and foremost, let's make room for our new friends we added. We got to remove some of these old friends. First one I'm removing is Primeval Spawn. Primeval Spawn is 5 generic mana and Wooburg. That is white, blue, black, red, green for a 10/10 creature avatar. It says if Primeval Spawn would enter the battlefield and it wasn't cast or no mana was spent to cast it, exile it instead. It's got Vigilance, Trample, and Lifelink. And it also says when it leaves the battlefield, exile the top 10 cards of your library. You may cast any number of spells with total mana value 10 or less from among them without paying their mana costs. So, 10 mana for a 10/10. If I don't cast it, say I cheated it in, it immediately exiles itself. So I can't cheat this in. But if it does exile itself or it does die, then that second trigger goes off. I look at the top 10 cards of my library, may cast any number of spells. That's awesome. That's a really powerful effect. However, what if there's more in that 10 cards that I wanted to play? I'm going to have to start making decisions there, and I will never get them back because they're exiled. So I felt like a 10 mana spell on its own is way too much. It's getting the axe.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone else that watches our videos are like me. I would draw this in my first 7 every single game.
Yeah, if you draw this in your opening hand, I think you're mulliganing, but your luck would be you draw 7, you're like, all right, this is a keepable hand. That first draw is going to be this.
God, yeah, get it out of here.
Another creature we're getting rid of is Zexara the Exemplary. Zexara the Exemplary is 1, a black, a green, and a blue. For a 2/3 legendary creature, Nightmare Hydra. It's got Death Touch. I can tap this to add 2 mana of any one color. And whenever you cast a spell with X in its mana cost, create a 0/0 green Hydra creature token. Then put X +1/+1 counters on it. We really do not have any X costs in the deck, so that second one is pretty relevant. And this creature is going to be doing nothing for us, really, besides adding 2 mana of any one color. I'm trying to cast multicolored spells here, so this is going out.
Tap it into the bin.
Tapping it into the bin. Speaking of tapping things into the bin, gotta say goodbye to my turtle shaman. This is Archelos Lagoon Mystic. Archelos Lagoon Mystic is 1, black, green, blue. For a 2/4 legendary creature turtle shaman. It says as long as it's tapped, other permanents enter the battlefield tapped. And as long as it's untapped, other permanents enter the battlefield untapped. This is fantastic. Uh, as far as our lands are concerned, if this is untapped, all of our tap lands come in untapped. That's cool. But on the flip side, it's for the entire table. So we are helping everybody get all their cool stuff that comes in tapped, untapped as well. And for whatever reason, if I did attack with this stuff, all of my creatures and things are going to be tapped because he doesn't have vigilance.
All right, so Hunter, I see the creatures we've removed. What else did you take out?
Yeah, so I just started to have to make some room. So we're cutting some cards that maybe you guys like, but the other cards we added, keep in mind, are better. Coalition Relic, 3 generic mana for an artifact. I can tap it to add 1 mana of any color, or I can tap it to put a charge counter on Coalition Relic. And at the beginning of pre-combat main phase, remove all charge counters from Coalition Relic, add 1 mana of any color for each charge counter removed this way. Um, yeah, if I ever wanted to get 2 mana off this, it's a dead card for a turn. I just have to kind of tap it and just not get that color for the turn. I just felt like it was too slow, and we're adding different mana rocks in the deck already. So Coalition Relic is going to have to get the axe here.
Yeah, this is very slow.
Yeah. Iridian Maelstrom is a brand new card from this deck that I'm also cutting. It is Wooburg, white, blue, black, red, green. It's a sorcery. It says destroy each creature that isn't all colors. Now that's really cool if I do have creatures that are all colors on the field, but I am going to cut this card because we do have other board wipes in the deck, and we're also adding in the really cool card called Cyclonic Rift. So this is getting the axe. Another card I'm getting rid of is Path to the World Tree. Path to the World Tree is 1 and a green for an enchantment. It says when it enters the battlefield, search the library for a basic land, reveal it, put in your hand, and shuffle. Then eventually I can pay 2 and Wooburg, sacrifice Path to the World Tree. You gain 2 life, draw 2 cards. Target opponent loses 2 life. Path to the World Tree deals 2 damage to up to 1 target creature, and you create a 2/2 green bear creature token. It's very slow. And very slow, I mean, it's definitely timed, and eventually it'll do something. But why am I spending 7 mana to do that? At most, the best ability there is to draw 2 cards, and I don't want to spend 7 mana because opponents losing 2 life does nothing. Dealing 2 damage to 1 creature does nothing. Making a little 2/2 is not going to help me either. So, Path to World Tree is getting the axe.
Well, you're right. Eventually, this might do something, but for now, it's in the bin.
In the bin we go. Speaking of in the bin, we're going to keep making room. So, Transguild Courier. Transguild Courier is 4 generic mana for a 3/3. It's an artifact creature golem. Says it's all colors. That's literally it. It's just a 3/3 vanilla creature that says it's all colors, so eventually it'll become an 8/8 if our commander targets this with its minus ability. But that is literally it. The creatures we added into here do something more than that. Also getting rid of Explosive Vegetation. Explosive Vegetation is 3 and a green for sorcery. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards. Put them on the battlefield, tap, and shuffle. This spell is really good for helping us fix our mana problems, but we already have different options that do this on top of this. We do have Farseek. We do have Cultivate, Kadama's Reach, Migration Path. We just have a lot of them. And I felt like this one was the slowest of the bunch. Another one we're getting rid of is Soultide Charm. Soultide Charm is a black, green, blue. It's an instant. It says choose one. I can either destroy target monocolored creature, destroy target artifact or enchantment, or draw 2 cards and discard a card. This charm is one of my least favorites out of the entire charm cycle. Uh, it's just slow, and it's not guaranteed to kill our opponent's things. Most of the time, our opponent's creatures are also multicolored. Can't destroy destroy target artifact for 3 mana. A little too much in my point. And we have other ways to card draw. You saw it with Brainstorm.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think out of all the charms, this one is definitely my least favorite. So I definitely agree with this getting the axe.
It's goodbye. And the final goodbye of the cards. This was a tough one, but it's a brand new card from this set. This is Unite the Coalition. Unite the Coalition is 2 generic mana and Blueberg for an instant. It says choose 5. You may choose the same mode more than once. I can have target permanent phase out. I can have target player draw a card. I can exile target creature. Nope. I can exile target player's graveyard. I can have Unite the Coalition deal 2 damage to any target. And I can destroy target artifact or enchantment. For 7 mana, I felt like this card can go into the bin. It definitely does a lot. Don't get me wrong. And for 7 mana, you want something to do a lot. But nowhere on this card for 7 mana does it say that I can win the game after I do all these things. It's I mean, let's break it down. Let's pretend in Magical Christmas Land we're gonna play this card and we're gonna do one mode 5 times because we can. Is 7 mana to draw 5 cards good?
No,
Is 7 mana to exile the board's graveyards good?
absolutely not.
Is 7 mana to do 10 damage to targets good?
No.
Yeah, it's 7 mana to get phase 5 permanents out.
Slightly better, but no.
I think the best part is 7 mana to destroy 5 things on the board. Is that good?
Nah, this card's not great for 7 mana.
Yeah, so this is getting the axe. Unite the Coalition, really cool card design with the Blueberg and all that stuff. But it is not helping me as much as the other cards are.
Fucking get the axe, dude. Go
Yeah.
against Jared. Fucking bye. It's a lot of cards we've gotten rid of so far. What lands did you get rid of?
Yeah, so as you know, we added a couple more lands. So we had to make room for them. So these are the lands we're getting rid of. Murray Bosque is an interesting land. It's a forest, so I can tap it to add a green, but it also says that it enters the battlefield. I will reveal a Treefolk card from your hand. If I don't, it enters the battlefield tapped. Fun fact, there's no Treefolks in this deck. It's
Hmm.
always going to enter the battlefield tapped. And I can also tap to add a white or a black, and it deals 1 damage to you if I use those. I'm adding in the Tri-lands that don't do damage to me, so they're just infinitely better than this card.
Yeah, and they'll come in tapped because you don't have a tree folk.
Bingo. Croson Verge, also getting rid of. This enters the battlefield tapped. I can tap it to add a colorless mana. I also pay to tap this and sack it to search your library for a forest and a plains card. Put them on the battlefield tap, shuffle. I looked at it like if I drew this early, I'm not getting the colors I need because it's tapping for colorless. So we want all the colors we can get. So the Tri-lands are more colors. And we're just going to eliminate 1 single swamp out of the deck. We are not as much black as the other 4 colors. So 1 swamp is coming out. And that is going to be it.
Oh, Hunter. What a beautiful rainbow we've slid down.
Nice Painbow. Am I right?
Nice Painbow. How much pain did this bow cost?
So the budget was $300. Go on TCG right now. Do all these additions, and you will have a total of $301.64. Yes, I went over budget by $1, and I apologize.
Unacceptable, sir.
It's very unacceptable. But if you want to get crazy, like I said before, with the lands and the mana base, you can maybe spend $900 on lands. So go do that if you really want to go crazy.
Well, alright guys, that was Hunter's $300 Painbow upgrade video. If you did like the video, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. If you want to check out the deck list, go down in the description. Go ahead and check that out. Hunter spent a lot of time on this deck. Let's go show him some love for it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let Hunter know what cards you think he should have added instead. What cards he should have removed instead. Go ahead and follow us on Instagram and Twitter as well. It is @GuysThatMagic. And as always, guys, thank you for watching. Hunter, send us out.
Goodbye.